Kia ora and welcome to Parnell District School News. I'm Wally.
And I'm Jack. Today on PDS News we have our big sports story on Jock Hobbs, news on solar flares, a recent drug bust, a shocking kidnapping, and on a lighter note, some entertainment news about Taylor Swift's upcoming visit. We will round off with the weather, but first up,
the Parnell Soapbox team are ready for race day on Saturday the 31st of March. They are hoping to repeat the success of last year's team when Georgia Tippett got through to the New Zealand finals. The Warriors were beaten by the Bulldogs, and the Breakers continued their winning streak. The rugby world and all New Zealand was sad to hear of the death of Jock Hobbs. He was 52 when he died in Wellington Hospital. He will be missed by his children and his wife. He was a great sportsman, and it was a shame he died so young. He was a very passionate New Zealander who came to fame as an All Black. His true greatness was as an administrator. Before he died, he fulfilled his dream of hosting the 2011 World Cup in New Zealand. The All Black players were depressed to hear of his passing, as he had played a crucial role in the World Cup campaign. Here's our on-the-spot reporter, Ryanus, with a special interview.
Hello, my name is Ryan, and joining me today is a friend of Jock Hobbs. Hi, Petey, and thanks for joining us today.
Looking at the right camera.
How do you know Jock Hobbs?
He has been a friend since high school, a personal and family friend.
What do you know about his main legacy?
For me, his friendship, but his biggest success has been securing the Rugby World Cup, and he lived to see what a success it was.
Who will take on his main job as rugby administration?
I am not sure. It will be his will sure be big boots to fill. We will have to see who will take his main role. He will be missed, but both by his family, friends, and rugby world.
an interesting interview. Thanks, Johannes. And now for an interesting interview. Thanks, Johannes. And now for something completely different. Solar flares. Is 2012 the beginning of the end, as people have predicted? On March the 6th, 2012, we experienced two major solar flares. Geomagnetic storms are growing more frequent. People are generally protected by the Earth's magnetic field. However, solar flares experts are concerned because the world is more reliant on satellite communication and technology now than it was during the last solar flare maximum. So how are these solar flares affecting us? Now over to our reporter, Geneva.
Thanks, Jack. I'm Geneva, and joining me now is astronomy experts. So, what are solar flares?
These are brief, enormous outbursts of power, equivalent to billions of nuclear explosions.
How and why are they formed?
We don't know exactly. However, we think they are like mini eruptions on the sun, caused by magnetic disturbances.
And how do they affect us?
Solar flares can block radio signals and neutralize technology that is vital to the way we live on Earth today. Imagine internet, technology, satellite communication, power, production, all crumbling to nothing. That would be a worldwide crisis.
So maybe the world won't end through nuclear war or disasters. Maybe the world will end with a solar flare. Imagine starving people, angry countries, fighting over the little remaining food and technology there is left. And we're out of time. Back to you, Moali and Jack.
Thanks, Geneva. Now for breaking news. Our breaking news story. At 5 o'clock today, a squad of SWAT teams stormed into a Glen Innes house where the 3 drug dealers were located. They had been producing many types of drugs. They had a P-lab with a working chemist. They were also keeping a marijuana plant and dealing in large amounts of cocaine. They were in possession of several guns, including a Glock and a Scorpion. The police used an undercover agent who infiltrated the dealers. They stormed the house with dogs and rifles. They closed off the street and they sent in a uniformed officer to scout the area and wait at the back of the house to stop anyone escaping. Let's cross to our on-the-spot reporter who has more on the situation. Over to you, Beatrice.
Thanks, Jack. I'm Beatrice, and joining me now is Philip and Officer Maxwell. So, what tipped you off to the drug dealers?
Well, we had a undercover officer working in the area, and he was giving us evidence of the drug house.
Why did you choose to act now? Why not sooner?
Well, the group has gone far enough, so they're ready to unleash the poison on the world. So it was a prime time to strike and to confiscate their drugs and firearms.
This is his neighbour, Philip. Were you aware of the drug den?
No, not at all. They seemed normal, but at times I smelled suspicious smells coming from next door.
How do you think the drug den will affect the neighbourhood?
Will not help our neighbourhood, but I'm optimistic that we will be fine. At least they didn't sell any of those poisonous drugs to our loved ones.
Thanks, Philip. And Officer Maxwell. We will update you as the situation progresses. Back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Beatrice. Now for something completely different. Entertainment news. Taylor Swift is coming to New Zealand. All of her free concerts in Auckland were sold out within 24 hours. Why is she so popular? Well, she won Artist of the Year and sold 10 million copies of her albums. Fearless came out and sold 5.5 million copies. She has performed concerts all over the world, and people have said that her concerts are amazing. Our reporter is excited to have the opportunity to interview her.
Hi, I'm Taylor Swift, and this is Venus. You sold 5.5 million copies of your album Fearless. Why did you call the album Fearless?
Well, it was my favourite song in the album, and it tells you about giving new things a go and not being afraid of challenges.
What makes your show so popular?
Well, I try to make them as original as I can, with lots of action on stage. Every show ends up being slightly different.
We are really looking forward to your show tonight. Thank you for talking to us.
Thanks, Venus. Have you seen either of these people? On Friday the 15th of March, Charlie Webster, a 12-year-old child, was walking to school when he saw a 20-year-old female push into a car. Alarmed, he took out his sister's phone and took a picture, sending it to the first contact on the phone list, a girl named Amy. Amy sent back a text asking who the photo was. What the photo was. Charlie replied, "Help." Amy called the police and her mother. The police arrived, but only to find Charlie Webster and Andrea Blackburn had both disappeared. Police have studied the area and the photo and the text, but are struggling to find any leads. Can you help? Contact 0800 255 312 with any information. Now to you, Jasmine, with the weather report.
Welcome to PDS News Weather Report. I'm Jasmine Penny. The national high was 22 degrees, with Hamilton achieving this. The national low of 13 was in Queenstown and Invercargill. Today, all around the country, there will be torrential rainfall. This will lead to severe flooding. This storm is predicted to be arriving in the west as we speak. Be sure to stay inside with your pets and keep any electrical appliances dry. To recap, the weather overnight will be terrible. Now, let's look at tomorrow's weather. The storm will have cleared. It will be mostly sunny over the country with a few cloudy patches in the south. Thank you, and good evening, New Zealand. Back to the news desk with Moali and Jack.
Thanks, Jasmine. So stay safe through tonight's storms.
Thank you all for watching. We'll see you again next time. From the whole team at PDS News,
goodbye and inohora.
avocado, avocado.